Thanks for downloading another segment from the Best of the Classic Metal Show. The Classic Metal Show is heard live on Saturdays from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassicmetalshow.com. And now here's another piece of Classic Metal Show history on the Best of the Classic Metal Show.
The Classic Metal Show.
Classic Metal Show right here on the ClassicMetalShow.com. That's Lemmy with the Ace of Spades is requested by Eric Brittingham himself. And believe it or not, Chris, I have a caller on the phone who is telling me that Lemmy was the best man at his wedding.
Well, how about that?
Well, on the phone, believe it or not, we have the elusive yet popular Snakemannn. Snakemannn, welcome to the Classic Metal Show.
Hey, pleasure to be here tonight. What's going on, guys?
I understand you're in Vegas, dude, and you're on your way out to see the Five Finger Death Punch.
Yeah, House of Blues tonight.
So I thought you were a Hollywood, LA guy. I thought you liked to live in Hollywood. Now you're in Vegas.
Well, I was. The writer's strike ended up wiping out my business and killed a lot of my friends' business, killed a lot of my clients. So I just said, screw it. Came to Vegas. There's more money here, a lot more clubs, shit like that. So I figured, what the hell, I'll just come here and try to open up a store and make more money.
Well, let me ask you, Snakemannn, what kind of a business are you in that the writer's strike killed your business? What kind of business do you do?
Well, I make jewelry. I make jewelry for not only celebrities, but I also do jewelry that fits wardrobe. Wardrobe companies buy my stuff. They put it on TV shows and movies, and that's how I was making my income. And unfortunately, because of the writer's strike for 100 days, two of my friends' wardrobe companies had to sell out. So I lost two clients, and ended up losing a TV show called Life on NBC. I had 2 episodes for $20,000, and a movie. I had a biker scene in a movie, and I was going to fill the whole biker bar with my jewelry. So pretty much went through my savings and ended up getting that blog, and you blasted me about it, and so.
Well, let's get into it, dude. I'm just going to ask you point blank, dude. When you put your world out there on MySpace, why do you think that it's not open to be smacked on?
Well, I mean, in some senses, yeah, you can comment on stuff, but when you read it word for word verbatim and you don't understand the background behind everything, because there's other stuff before that, and there's emails and there's bulletins, and there's stuff on my site that explains why I wrote some of that, and that most of the people on my page that know me know what that, is. And I try to fill in the people that don't know me. I try to tell everything about me, whether, you can read everything about me and you can choose whether or not you want to be my friend. And that's just that. Right. I mean, yeah, it's a little humbling exposing myself sometimes, but on the other side of the coin, you get to know everything about me, and I've got nothing to hide. If I ever run for office, everybody's going to go, but you did this. I'm like, yeah, so? I'm going to be like, anti-politician on that behalf, because everything will already be out about me. So you can love me or you can hate me. That's not my fault.
Well, do you have aspirations to be a politician and run for office?
Well, I mean, you haven't seen my me for Snakemannn for president on YouTube video, but
well, actually, we played
it. I mean, yeah, one day I wouldn't mind. I've dreamt it since I was a little kid. I wouldn't mind being a president, because I think I could run the country a lot better than some of the people that have done it in the past.
Right. Well, dude, we have seen the video, man. We played it, and we played the video earlier on the show, and you do realize that to be the president, you can't have a felony on your record.
Well, for one, my case was 6 months after I got released. I went back to court, and the judge reversed it, and squashed the rest of my sentence. I had two years on paper, and I did 6 months, and he canceled the rest of my thing. And right now I'm working on getting a pardon from Governor Chris, and there's all kinds of hoops I got to jump through to make it official. But once that happens, I will be eligible. But I voted since 1988, and I'm eligible. I've owned and carried handguns. I've had a concealed weapons permit, so I'm not in the same class as regular convicted felons.
Well, let me ask you, Snakemannn, and the reason why we even keyed in on your blog and your MySpace is just because you are an interesting character. I mean, you got to admit that, right?
I do. I definitely try.
All right.
I try to do as much as I can and experience as much as life offers as I'm allowed to do legally.
Well, again, we question some of the things that you write out there because from a guy, I'm 44 years old. I'm a business owner. I own a couple of businesses myself. I'm self-employed. But you wear as a badge of honor the fact that you're able to stay out of prison. And my question is don't you know you're not supposed to go to prison? And why is it a badge of honor that you can keep yourself off of drugs and not go to prison?
Well, see, the thing is, I lived a hard life growing up until I turned 18. When I turned 18, I inherited a lot of money, and I blew it on drugs and alcohol and rock and roll and the whole 9 yards. And it caused me to do bad things, and I went to prison, and for 2.5 years, the first week I was in prison, they told me 80% of you guys are coming back. I was like, fuck that, well, I didn't say it right then, I was just like, yeah, whatever, and then 2.5 years later, I just decided, drinking and doing drugs ain't gonna do it for me. I see where it put me, and it made me realize through, my own experience that I don't want to drink or do drugs because that's where I ended up. And I just made a conscious choice not to drink or do drugs so that I don't do the wrong thing. I don't make the wrong choices. I've made a lot of wrong choices since then. I've done things, I've tried to stay 100% legal, and I've tried to do the right thing when I can, but, I still speed when I drive, but a lot of people look at it and they go, wow, 24 years clean from drugs and alcohol. How have you done it? Well, I've made a choice. I've made a choice. I don't want to go back to prison. That's been my choice. I still have the pants that I wore when I walked out, the day that I walked out of prison. Has my name and number right on the butt. So it's just a reminder that that's what I would have to wear if I ever went back.
Sure. Well, Snakemannn, I mean, the thing that I found the most odd about your MySpace post, and I won't even say odd, just kind of sad, is the whole pandering thing, dude. Now, you're a grown man, you've had businesses before. Man, that's pretty lowering of yourself to just say, hey, send me $1, send me a gift card, man. It makes you look like a pathetic pud.
Well, the gift card thing was, and you can try your little trick that you said, but if I go to Walmart and I got a $50 gift card in my hand, if it says 0, you're not getting your jewelry. I don't send your jewelry until I get the gift card. I'm not stupid. So that little ploy, I mean, I heard you laughing and talking about ripping me that way. Oh, that's pretty good about you. Anyway, the gift cards, people got gift cards for Christmas. And my idea was, if they're not going to use them, or if they don't need them, why not give them to me? I can go and get groceries, or I can go and get, stuff that I want. I might want some DVDs or something, And I make jewelry. I have jewelry if they want jewelry, but they don't have cash, or they don't have PayPal, or they don't have a credit card. This is another form of doing it. As for the dollar thing, I give... whenever anybody sends me $1, I send them my autographed guitar picks. I have my own guitar picks that I get through Dunlop, and I send them out. And that's the trade for the dollar. I was at a time, with the last 2 months, a lot of things that happened. This chick ripped me off for $1,000 and screwed up my PayPal and losing my business. losing my business license, and a lot of shit that was happening in Hollywood, and everywhere I was going to try to find work. All my friends that were lighting men and production assistants and all that stuff in the TV and movie industry in Hollywood were all at the same job interviews and the same job fairs trying to find the same jobs. So there was nothing there, and then I couldn't find any tours, and I just got depressed and desperate, and I wrote that in the middle of the night, and, you know, it is what it is. Usually it says, hey, send me $1, I'll send you 2 guitar picks, and I show my guitar picks. That's part, you know, that was part of it. It just got jumbled up, and I'm like, well, you know, if you want to donate, and all you got is $1, then go ahead and send me $1. You know, every little bit helps. At the time, I was desperate. I needed some help. I wasn't finding any work in Hollywood, and that's why I moved to Vegas. I'm you know, there's a lot of work here, even though everybody says there isn't. But in my field, my industry, there's tons of clubs here. There's tons of productions. I can get jobs that a lot of people can't because, you know, being a roadie for 20 years.
Right. Well, dude, just from reading everything on your page, and believe me, I did, because I was hoping that you would come on. It really comes off like you blame everybody else for everything instead of saying, you know what, I just got to fucking put my feet down and do it. You know, Neeley owns businesses, I own businesses. I haven't had anybody to lean on myself
everything is
ever.
ripped out from under you at the same time, and other circumstances hit you at the same time. It's like the people that are in the floods right now, you know, they're sitting there watching their shit from a couple hundred miles away from their home, and their houses are going down the rivers, and, you know, if they had a MySpace, or if that was my situation, I'd be on saying, you know, I just lost my house and everything. Mine wasn't as bad as that, but that's the way I felt inside, you know. That's the way I felt personally. My own depression, my own insecurities led me to do, you know, to say things and do things that sometimes I should regret and sometimes I do regret.
But then why would you be offended that somebody poked fun at it instead of just making your thoughts private or even just editing your MySpace page?
The way that you guys were saying it comes across not as fun to the person that it's being done to. All right? I mean, if you were fucking with Eric Brittingham, who happens to be a good friend of mine, hey, Eric, if you're listening, if you were poking fun about him having the biggest hair ever, you know, Circus Magazine and MTV said the biggest hair ever, Eric Brittingham, 1989, then, you know, that's poking fun at him for having the biggest hair ever as a hair metal band god. That's poking fun. But when you make somebody feel like even worse than they already feel and they're going through the situation, that's kind of fucked up.
Well, I'm gonna make 2
your
points.
humor cross the line into offensiveness?
No,
I mean,
not at all.
Yeah, you can talk to me and joke around. Yeah, we could say stuff especially when I can rebut, or, you know.
Well, that's why we invited you on.
That's why we invited you on.
Well, yeah, but I mean, you guys talking about the guys for hair, and then the people that make the posts, yeah, they're a little bit wacko as well. But you make them, you don't know them. Especially you don't know them as well as you could know me. But, I mean, if you really if you go to my website, Snakemannn.com, and look at all the stuff, I list my life. I show all the way from when I was a baby, when I was in my mom's stomach. There's pictures. There's all my history, my whole job life since I get out of prison. I mean, everything's up there.
But, dude, it's not our job to tell your life history. We found something funny, we fucking poked it. And now we open the door for you to come on, dude. I mean, I'm not asking you to say, okay, it's all funny, whatever. If you're upset, you're upset. That's part of what we do, you know, and we take it as much as we give it. The thing I'm trying to say is you can't be calling us up and saying, oh, we're unmetal because we did that, or metal is this lifestyle and all that bullshit, because here we are opening the door to you. Saying, here, come on, say everything you want to fucking say, promote your shit, and we're cool with that, dude. We don't hate you. We don't even know you.
So you got offended by my email replies?
No, not at all. We found it
interesting. It sounds like. Come on.
No, we were. It's very interesting, and when we come across a guy like you, who obviously is, I don't know. I'm not really even sure what your MySpace is trying to do. If it's like a cry for help or I don't know what it is. But I want to get to something very specific on your website there. You have all these posts over there and these pictures of people who've ripped you off for jewelry. I got to tell you, as a business person myself, it only has to happen to me one time, and that will never happen again. But yet you have 8 or 10 people on there that are famous that ripped you off. At what point do you think to yourself, man, I got to stop being such a trusting person or stop being such a shitty businessman and let somebody walk away with my merchandise and not pay for it? At what point do you say that?
Well, I've already passed that point, but I mean, a lot of these people are my friends, and then they dog me like that, so this is just my way of dogging them a little bit, because it's like, yeah, nobody's going to get any credit anymore, but I trust people more than I distrust them. Yep. I mean, this is America, and I believe in the handshake, and, you know, somebody says, hey, I'll call you tomorrow. You kind of believe them, and you kind of want to trust them, and by American standards, we should. I mean, when did that all go away?
About 1965.
Yeah, I know, right when I was born.
Well, see, there you go. Well, Snakemannn, you know, I'm gonna give you credit where credit is due. I think you're pretty ballsy for calling up here and you know, putting up with our nonsense, and that's what we are. We don't take ourselves seriously. We're just a couple of douchebags who just, you know, do what we do. And I'm going to give you props for being ballsy enough to call in and talk to us.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I
agree with the douchebags part, but
well, whatever, dude. We know we know what we do, but as you know, and as a little consolation to you, I'm going to go ahead and plug where people can find you and find your jewelry and how they can get a hold of you.
That's cool. I was going to say something else.
Go ahead.
You guys are talking about oh man, I just had a brain fart. People can go and see the pictures of me and Lemmy and my ex-wife on my website, and it's in my pictures and on Snakemannn.com with 3 N's. You got to make sure there's mentioned 3 N's. And the reason, you guys asked me about having 3 N's. Why 3 N's? Well, Snakemannn.com was already taken, and 1994 when I first signed on to AOL, I tried to do Snakemannn, but it was already taken, so you were allowed to have 10 characters, so I just did 3 N's. And that just became my moniker. And because I was the Snakemannn, everybody called me Victor the Snakemannn, or Snake. It just kind of stuck, and then that became my trademark, and now that's how everybody knows me. And so you wanted to know, Chris, I guess you questioned why I have 3 N's. So there's the story on that. Wow. Is that good enough for you?
Good enough.
I was on the edge of my seat for that one.
I mean, yeah, he blasted me. He's like, why 3 N's? So I was just like, you know, but that's, and then on my website you can click on Gazzari's Night when I was hosting Gazzari's Night, and you can see me with all the bikini girls at the bikini contest. And then I got married at Gazzari's on Sunset Strip, and Lemmy was my best man. So, you want to know the story behind that?
Well, go right ahead.
All right, well, Lemmy was one of my very first customers. When I first started making jewelry, I made a piece for Randy Castillo from Ozzy Osbourne, and who was actually my friend when I was working with Lita Ford. He was the drummer, and I made a custom choker for him, and Lemmy's like, oh, man, can you make me one? I'm like, sure. So I made him one, and then he was out with Ozzy Osbourne. Randy Castillo ended up going out with Ozzy Osbourne on the very last tour, 92. And Ice-T, I was working with Body Count, and Ice-T was supposed to be my best man. Body Count was supposed to play. But a couple nights before my wedding, Lemmy and Ozzy got into a fight backstage. Lemmy quit the tour, and they hired Body Count. I couldn't go because I was already getting married, So let me meet him at the Rainbow, and I'm like, well, Ice is gone. Will you be my best man? He's like, sure. And that's how that happened.
All right. Well, Snakemannn, like I said, I give you props for calling into the show, but go ahead and tell people how to find your jewelry, and I'm sure you could use a few sales.
Well, nightwindcreations.com, NIGHTWIND, creations, CREATIONS.com, and you can click there. You can send me an email, Snakemannn at AOL, with 3 N's, MANNN, and tell me what you want, and right now I can do U.S. Post Office money order or, like I said, gift cards or cash, but it's not safe to send cash and it's not guaranteed. U.S. Post Office money order, 1, I can cash it in the post office, and 2, they have a receipt in case it gets lost in the mail. They can get their money back, so they're guaranteed on that.
Well, how do people know? How do people know they can trust you?
Well, I mean, you look at the people that are wearing my jewelry. I've never had any complaints. I've been doing business a long time. I've been doing mail. I've mailed, ordered around the world. I've got thousands of satisfied clients.
Excellent. Well,
I mean, I try to be as trustworthy as possible. I was a Boy Scout, so what can I say? I just ended up going to prison for 2.5 years, and I learned my lesson, and I stayed out. So I should be a little bit more trustworthy than most.
Well, let me ask you, and I don't mean to keep harping on this, but you were in prison over 22 years ago. Don't you think it's about time to let that go?
No, because there's other people that are struggling with their drug addictions, and I wrote a piece on how to quit smoking, and over 700 people have quit in the last 16 months because of what I wrote. And
well, how do you keep track of that?
You guys bash me about having ideas and doing festivals and all that stuff. Let me go ahead and rebut that real quick.
All right.
One, the festivals that I do, I'm not a carny. The festivals I do would be like Rocklahoma or Tattoo Convention or Sturgis Bike Week or the Laughlin Bike Run. Those are the kind of people that are going to buy my jewelry, and that's where I'm going to make the most amount of money. So in asking for an investor, you know, if somebody gave me $5,000 and I do an event in 2 weeks, I could turn that into $20,000-30,000 in 3 days.
Well,
right?
How do you
right now I need an investor because I need to do some events to get out of the hole. And the person gets double their money back. I got my jewelry and I got money to do more events, and I'm good to go.
Well, how do you gauge your potential sales? How do you know that you could turn that money around like that? Well, what do you gauge?
People that are going to these events that are paying like buku bucks to get in, like this weekend at the Riviera here on Vegas Strip, there's a tattoo convention. It's $25 a day to get into this thing, and it's full. There's 60,000 people going to this tattoo convention, all right, that are paying like buku bucks to get in. That's money in the bank. Okay. I've done these events before, so I just know, even in the recession, we're not really in a recession, that we got reported growth yesterday, they said on the news. So even with the gas prices and everything, people are still spending money. I just know that people have money, and that's where they go. The people that go to these events don't have a problem with money. Okay. Or they're overextending themselves, and that's their own problem, but they still spend money.
Okay. Well, what about getting one of these rock stars that you're friends with to be your investor?
Believe me, I've tried, and some of them are more Jewish than I am. I mean, I know some of the wealthiest rock stars that still have all their own money, and just trying to get lunch out of them is quite an obstacle.
Snakemannn, I'll tell you, again, dude, we don't hate you. We don't have anything against you. We don't even know you, but we did find your blog funny, and if you don't know anything about the Classic Metal Show, we're pretty brutally honest about stuff, and you just happen to be the subject of the time, so...
I'm pretty brutally honest about my own self. So.
Yeah, I see that, but you're by putting yourself out on the World Wide Web like that, you're opening yourself up for either praise or criticism, and we just happen to be on the criticism spectrum. So you caught a little wrath of the CMS tonight.
Okay.
All right, dude. Well, you got anything else for us?
Do I get to pick a song?
Sure, why not?
Okay. Well, go ahead and do your spiel. Is there any guest? And go ahead.
All right. What song do you want? There's our spiel.
No, before we even let them pick a song, we always let the guest answer our traditional classic metal show question. And aside from the fact that he was in your wedding, how has Lemmy influenced your career?
Well, if you look at the album 1918, I believe it says, special thanks to Victor and Rebecca. It's me and my ex-wife, and that was from Lemmy. I read every single note on that album as Lemmy was doing it.
Okay.
I sat in his living room in West Hollywood and listened to the whole thing. Lemmy's been a good friend of mine for 25 years, so I mean, how's he influenced me? He's bought a lot of my jewelry. He's helped me when I've been down.
Cool.
Right. When you were reading all the stuff on 1918, I mean, what were you reading behind except for your credits? What else was there to read there?
Well, there's all the other credits. Everybody else thanked all their other people. Phil came out with his own symbol to play with Prince a little bit, and he changed his name to his symbol, so that was kind of funny. That all happened right at the same time.
When you were reading it, did you happen to see that it was 1916, not 1918?
1916, whatever.
Well, you would think you would know that if that's a special CD to you, since your name is in it.
Yeah, bosh me somewhere. Come on, 1960, yeah, 2 years old.
Gee whiz. Well, what would you like to hear, Snakemannn? What can we play for you?
Cat Scratch Fever off of that album.
Okay.
Do that.
We can do that. Anything else?
More Motorhead won't hurt, right?
No, we love Motorhead.
I figured.
All right, man. Well, again, I give you props for...
Anytime you want to get Lemmy on the show.
Well, we've had Lemmy on the show several times.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll keep you in mind.
We know Lemmy. All right, man. Well, again, we appreciate you taking some time and, hanging with us and, dishing it right back.
Yeah, I got to get over the Five-Figure Death Punch at the House of Blues, so.
All right, man. We'll go over there and enjoy the show.
All right, cool.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
See ya.
All right, bye. Wow. Well, that was interesting.
Well, that was something.
Well, there's the Snakemannn.
There you go. You guys wanted him to call in, and I will give him Balls of Steel award, man.
He did. He called in.
It's definitely not, especially after hearing how brutal we can be. It's probably not the easiest phone call to make.
Yeah, well, he stood up like a man and he took it. So hey, good for him.
Yeah, good for him. Go buy his jewelry.
Right. Well, hey, make up your own mind.
Yeah, exactly. Go over to snakemannwith3ns.com.
Right. Go check.
Yeah, I agree with Rain City Metal. Don't even play his song.
Well, I tell you what, I will play a Motorhead song, and I think it's probably more appropriate for the Snakemannn. What do you think?
I was thinking "I Am the Snake" by Love Hate.
No, I was thinking more like Snake Bite Love.
All right, that'll work.
All right, and we'll take some phone calls here after I play this Motorhead song. What do you think?
Alrighty, sounds like a good plan.
Well, here's Motorhead, and I'm going to dedicate this to the Snakemannn, who was ballsy enough to be part of the Classic Metal Show tonight. So here it is. This is Motorhead with Snake Bite Love exclusively here
on your Classic Metal Show.
Thanks for checking out the best of the Classic Metal Show. You can tune into the Classic Metal Show live every Saturday night from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. Eastern, exclusively at www.theclassic